the game.
Hi, I'm Kelsa Dickey, the CEO of the Financial Coach Academy and my financial coaching business, Fiscal Fitness Phoenix. My coaching journey began more than a decade ago with me helping people for free from my dining room table. What was once a little business of mine has grown into a 7-figure company that employs a team of people. My goal is simple, to help you fall more and more in love with financial coaching. I believe financial coaching is the most rewarding way to make a living. If you are an aspiring financial coach or have been coaching for years, I'm here to help you create a business you love that gets your clients massive results. Let's get to it. Hey Coach, welcome to episode 46, the Ultimate Growth Guide for Financial Coaches, Part 2. Today's review is from Courtney at Work Week Meals. So much helpful information in this podcast, a free masterclass every episode. Looking forward to reading her book and maybe signing up for the Academy one day. Courtney, thank you so much for the review and for being a listener and enjoying the content. And I can't wait to have you in the Academy someday. All right, Coach, in order to really grow as a coach, grow your business and help more people, we began the journey of outlining your business model as a financial coach. How do you help your clients? What step do you invite them to take? First, second, third, and so forth. And how are you leading them through this journey so they feel supported and get the best results? Navigating this journey and ensuring you have what you need, the client has what they need, and the systems are such that they support both are your growth checkpoints. They are the essential levers of growth in your career as a financial coach. We call this our client journey roadmap, and it is at the heart of what we help you create in the Financial Coach Academy program. Previously, we discussed the first step, the quick audit or free consultation. Today, we're going to continue down this client journey, the exact one we use at Fiscal Fitness, which is my financial coaching company. This is exactly step-by-step how we coach our clients. To see a visual representation of this client journey roadmap and what we're going to be covering in this series, head on over to financialcoachacademy.com/client journey to download our visual guide so that you can follow along. Having a client journey mapped out is essential. When you are talking with a prospective client, it's important to listen intently to the client, right? You don't want to have all this mind drama going on where you're trying to listen, but you're also thinking, oh God, what do I say? What do I have them do? How do I let this person know I can help them? Gah, right? I'm not saying you need to have all of these steps fully created before you ever step foot out the door to market your business and begin talking with people. But having an outline sure does help you to feel more calm and focused on the prospective client, which is really important. Not only does it provide you with what you need to show up confidently, it's what the client needs from you, and the result is a business that grows. At the end of part 1, we were nearing the end of the initial session, the free conversation where you bridge the gap. Now we're going to invite the client to take the next step in their journey and in their progress. The next step in the client journey is called a discovery session. It is a one-time paid session where we coach the client one-to-one for a longer amount of time. It's this session where we're really able to give specific and personalized coaching to the client because we're also going to gather the relevant details and information we need to truly understand what they're working with. The goal of this session is total clarity on 4 core areas of their money and their financial position: income, spending, debt, and savings. How are they all playing together? What are their strengths and where are their opportunities and areas for improvement? Where are their gaps and what behaviors or habits are causing some of the main sources of stress or overwhelm to the client and their financial position? And what changes and strategies can they employ right away in order to get better results or make progress towards their goals? And all of this is put together into a plan. So our clients leave this session with a plan for their income, spending, savings, and debt in order to achieve their first goal. As you can imagine, this is incredibly valuable. Our session is 2 hours for individuals and couples and 2.5 hours for small business owners. At Fiscal Fitness, we charge $597 or $797 respectively. Now, there are definitely some variations for this session depending on your ideal client, your philosophies as a coach, and the areas of money you really focus on. You may start by doing a 1-hour session or 90 minutes and charging less. You might do a 4 or 6 hour session deep dive, like a VIP day model where you include a break for lunch or something like that. And maybe you charge more. You might do 2 90-minute sessions. You could focus solely on income or net worth or mindset only during your session. Chances are, coach, you already have a process. It's just a matter of pulling that out of you and packaging it into the first step for your client. But the idea is that there's an initial investment and commitment. Before we get into more of these specifics, let's go back to the end of that first conversation with the client. We've helped them identify where they are and where they want to be instead. We've given them some things to look at and consider in order to bridge those two things. And now we're going to invite them to let us help them. This is the first time you are going to put a price tag on your services. So you're going to sell. You are inviting them to get the results they're after and to exchange value for value. I want you to think about selling as simply inviting someone to work with you. They are going to give you something of value, money. In exchange, you are going to give them something of value, a plan to achieve their goal, or total clarity on where they are and what it's going to take to get what they want. In the Academy, we call the sales training module Selling with Integrity, because I believe the most important aspect of selling is you feeling good about what you are offering. Selling can feel good. It doesn't have to be sleazy or feel gross. I can give you scripts galore, but that doesn't mean they'll work perfectly for you. So as we discuss this next step, I want you to pay attention to your gut, coach. If something doesn't feel right for you, lean into that. How could you word it in a way that would feel good to you? One thing to know when it comes to selling is the difference between features and benefits. Features of my discovery session are that it's 2 hours. They meet one-to-one with a coach. They'll complete prep work. It's $597 and those types of things. So length of time, format of the session, the process, and the price are features. The benefits are that they'll have total clarity on how their income, spending, savings, and debt are all connected. They'll have specific strategies for each one of those things to support and speed up their goal of getting out of debt or whatever their goal is. And they'll have a detailed plan to follow so they can take more confident action. Benefits can also be the things they won't have. They won't be winging it anymore. They won't be juggling everything. They won't be barely getting by. They won't feel as stressed. When I'm inviting someone to work with me, I focus on the benefits first, and I'm going to encourage you to do the same. If they don't want the benefits, the features don't matter. The price doesn't matter. So at the end of the first session, I'll say something like, I would love to wrap my arms around your finances with you to make this step less daunting. This is what I do and what I love to do. So I'll take the step of looking at your income, your spending, debt, and savings. I'll get it all organized for you. Identify the exact steps you need to take, and I'll create a plan for you to follow. Then we'll meet, and I'll make sure it's all really clear for you too, so that you can wrap your arms around it as well. You'll be able to see exactly how to pay off your first debt, and you'll know a timeline for achieving that. How does that sound? And of course, where I said pay off your first debt, that is going to be whatever goal they told you they have. And you'll want to use their words here. So if they use the phrase, pay off a credit card, but also pay for this vacation we've got coming up, that is what you say there. So you'll be able to see exactly how to pay off a credit card, but also pay for that vacation you have coming up. Hopefully you can see why listening intently is so important and your number one focus, and why getting this client journey outlined is so important. Not only is it what I believe our clients deserve, but it's what you and your business needs to be successful. You can't have mind drama during these conversations, which again is why your client journey is so important. What I'm doing here is I am confirming if they want the benefits first. Some people will say, yeah, that sounds great. Others will begin to ask questions. Before we get into the types of questions you're most likely to hear at this stage, here is your first growth checkpoint. Are you inviting them to work with you? Are you inviting them to get the results they say they're after? There are two main types of questions. The first is geared toward the specific advice you may give them. So they'll say something like, what if I don't like the part of the plan? Or what if I don't like some of the changes? Or what if blank, right? It'll be something along those lines. Something logistical, if I could put a word on this category of questions. The good news with these types of questions is they are visualizing themselves receiving what you just offered, which is a really good sign, okay? In order to ask the questions they are asking, they are imagining themselves receiving the benefit, sitting with you, getting the plan, and you explaining it to them and doing that session, okay? I love these types of questions. Your only job is to not mess this up. Don't start trying to talk them out of it or getting overly complicated when you answer these questions. They're looking for reassurance and clarity, but they're ready or nearly ready. They want what you just offered. So answer their question in an affirming way, if you can, and in a way where you continue to future cast so that they don't lose the vision that they are having. Okay, so because this is true for me, what I'm about to say, and ultimately what I believe, any sort of what if question about the plan or the advice or the coaching they may receive during that session, I will typically say something like this. Everything I do is customizable to you, and your buy-in is the most important thing. So when we meet and I deliver your plan to you, it is a conversation. We'll discuss some initial steps I've come up with, but we are not tied to anything. In fact, chances are I'm going to have a few different paths you could take depending on what you think is going to feel best for you. And it is 100% your choice what changes you make. We're going to have 2 hours together. So we're going to be finessing it and making it perfect for you based on what you think. We are totally going to talk through it. But that's a really great question. I'm glad you asked. What other questions do you have about how this session will help you pay off a credit card while also preparing for your vacation that's coming up? Keep their goal present. All too often, coaches start the sales part of the conversation and forget everything the client said up until that point. Keep it front and center because that's what the invitation to work with you is really all about, helping them to achieve their goal. That is all we're talking about here. And always invite the questions. What other questions do you have? This is a conversation. There is sales advice that says you stay quiet, but I invite the person to tell me what they're thinking. That simply works best for me. At this point, they may ask the second type of question, which is something like, well, how much does that cost? So they're getting into the features now. You have to confirm first that they see the value in what you are offering. So I'll typically say something like, let's talk about those specifics, but I want to just make sure first. Paying off a credit card and getting ready for your vacation coming up is important to you. And it's something you would like help with, right? Or yes. Another way of wording this is, let's talk about those specifics, but I just want to make sure first. Paying off a credit card and getting ready for your upcoming vacation at the same time, that's important to you, and you can see us how working together could help you to do that. Yes? We need a yes. So sometimes you just have to ask a yes or no question. If they don't see the value in what you are offering, if they don't care about that goal, or if they don't want help making it happen, it does not matter, coach, if you charge $5. They are not going to want to part with it, even if it's only $5 for something that doesn't seem worth it to them. You will get a price objection, but it's not really the price. It's that you didn't firm up the value in what you are offering first. Here is growth checkpoint number 2. Are you leading with features or are you leading with benefits when you make an offer? If they ask the first type of question first, and then they ask the second type of question, that's actually usually a good sign because they're naturally guiding the sales conversation and they probably don't even realize it. Their mind is naturally going from, okay, I like this, but now what? And that's where some of the features questions come from. If they don't ask any additional questions, then I'll typically say something like, sounds like this is a good fit, or sounds like you're ready to pay off your debt and have a fun time in Hawaii. So let's talk now about the investment and time commitment for this session, as well as some of the logistics. Then we move into the features. I quote the price and briefly talk about the prep work that I will need, but you do not want to make this part sound overly hard or impossible. The goal here is to continue future casting. What happens from here? This is your onboarding step. What do they need to do, but not necessarily every single step? You can help them with every individual step once they schedule. But if you get too detailed here, you could actually talk them out of it, because here's what's happening if you do that, okay? They go to this place where mentally what happens is the cost, and I'm not talking just about financial cost, but the time and effort cost starts to seem so daunting or too great, and they begin to feel less hopeful or less bought into the benefits the more you get into the weeds of this. Do not rob them of the belief that they're having at this part of the conversation. They're beginning to form that things can be better by getting into the weeds here. Do not rob them of the hope and the belief that they're feeling by pulling them back down into the weeds, okay? Growth checkpoint 3. Are you overwhelming them and talking them out of saying yes during the onboarding process? Are you getting too in the weeds? Remember, your job is to lead them. So this might sound something like, together, let's pick the day and time that works best for you. You'll pay the $597 coaching fee, and then we'll both begin wrapping our arms around those 4 areas of your money. Then we'll be able to meet and discuss your plan so that you can really hit the ground running on your debt. Do you have your calendar available right now? Really high overview of prep work, that there's work to do on both of our ends, right? Really simple. We're going to do this. Let's take this next step together, right? And do you have your calendar available right now? We're guiding and facilitating this conversation. At this phase, and anytime you're making a paid offer to someone, there are 7 main objectives we see. And in the Academy, we give you our responses to those objections. But the most important step every coach should take is not to regurgitate the script that we give them, but to really think through, how does your coaching help them with that or despite that objection? For example, coach, the time is a common one. I don't have time to schedule with you, or I don't have time to make progress with my money, right? I personally think that time restraints are a reason to hire a coach, not a reason not to. If I'm busy, I don't have time to spend on trial and error or researching options and figuring out solutions on my own. I truly believe that the times I've hired a coach and it's been most successful is when I've owned the fact that my time limitations are why I'm not making progress on my own. So I don't need a script because I truly believe in that. So when a client brings it up or this particular objection comes up, I share openly and honestly with them. So as you begin to hear objections, don't shy away from them. Lean into them and ask yourself, is this really a valid objection? Or is this actually another reason why my coaching is more valuable? Or get the Academy and just borrow from the mindset work I've already done over the years on these 7 objections and use the scripts we provide to speed up your own learning curve. Now from here, I say, great, let's get you scheduled. I pull up my scheduling software and we pick a day and time and I ask them for their payment information and voila, done. This is important. I am actually going into the scheduling screen. So the one that they would go to, I'm not sending it to them. I am pulling it up on my computer screen and I am entering in all of the information for them. If they're interested, please don't say, okay, so go here and pick a day and time and then expect them to do it. You do it, okay? There's a concept in sales psychology that says right after someone pays for something, they feel the worst. It's like this pit in their stomach of, oh God, what have I done? Or, oh gosh, maybe that wasn't right. One important aspect of your client journey and ultimately growing your business is thinking about what your client needs at various phases, and not just their financial needs that you coach them on, but the emotional side of the journey for the client too. When is there a high point? When they're excited and celebrating? When are they at a low point? When their doubts and hesitations are heightened? This moment, when they've just scheduled and paid to schedule with you, is ultimately, and when they ultimately decide they're going to show up for themselves and their goals, is one of these latter moments where their hesitations and doubts are heightened. We want to understand the emotional side of the client journey so we can meet them there. Typically, my energy at this point of the conversation is excited and optimistic, but also calm. Sarah, I am so excited to help you feel better about your debt and help you enjoy your time in Hawaii. It's really normal to feel nervous between now and your session next Tuesday. It's normal to feel overwhelmed by the prep work once you open it. I want you to know I'm here and you can reach out to me no matter what. If you need help with the prep work, I'm here to help you with it. If you start to feel nervous as the session gets closer, you may even think about canceling it or pushing it off. That's normal too. Just know you're going to love the session. You're going to feel so much better afterward because you'll have clarity, and you can't even imagine what that feels like right now. But your mind, just know, might try and talk you out of doing the prep work or doing the session because that's the growth you're experiencing. Please know I am here and I've got you. If you're listening to this and you have an assistant or a team, you'll want to say this script or something similar to it, but use we and us language here instead. This is when you begin to shift from you and the client being a team to now they are a part of your organization and you are all a team. So we really consider this like they are part of the Fiscal Fitness family now. We've all got them. Whether it's me, my assistant, another coach, we are all here supporting them. You and your team are there to support the client now. You have a few options for ending the conversation. This too is where things can really go off the rails. You can end by saying something like, are there any questions you have for me before we hang up? Or do you have any questions that I can answer before we hang up? But be careful because they might start asking a ton of questions that are really meant for the upcoming session. So don't be afraid to say that. You can say, okay, I'm going to write that down and make sure we add that to the list of things we look at next Tuesday. In other words, don't get into coaching mode here, coach. Oftentimes, a much better approach is to ask the question, but with a time reference added. So something like, ooh, we're actually doing really good on time. Go us. We've got 2 minutes to spare. What questions do you have for me in these 2 minutes? Okay, again, really putting that time limitation on the conversation. If you've gone over on the time limit already, you could also say something like, I know we're over on time, but I could spare an extra minute if there is maybe 1 or 2 quick questions that you were really hoping to ask me. Or, okay, I'm going to see you next week, Sarah. And again, don't hesitate to reach out between now and then if you need anything or if you have any questions. Okay, so that's another just stronger way where you're not opening it up for questions if you're over on time, but you're referencing, you're still future casting, right? Always future cast into what comes next for them. So this brings me to growth checkpoint number 4 for you, coach. Are you ending the session strongly or letting it drag on for too long? Once the client schedules the session, the confirmation email, they receive includes all the prep work and instructions. We check in with them once or maybe twice, and once we get the prep work back, we get to work reviewing it prior to the session. We do an initial review, and then there's typically an email or 2 that we send with some clarifying or follow-up questions based on the prep work. But ideally, you'll have a lot of things dialed in going into the discovery session with the client. Then the day of the session comes, and again, our discovery session is 2 or 2.5 hours, but yours could be shorter or longer depending on your area of focus and your niche. Some things that you might have noticed or maybe thinking that I do want to address. We do not go straight into a long-term coaching program at Fiscal Fitness. It's not to say you can't or shouldn't. I know there are coaches who do it. Typically, that model looks like a longer free consultation on the front end, definitely an hour, maybe 90 minutes, which again, I just think is a lot of your time to give away for free, especially if you're looking to get a lot of clients every single month. And then inviting them into a multi-month program, like 90-day program, a 6-month program. And it's not to say this is wrong by any means. I want to be clear on that. I just think there are so many benefits to using a paid discovery session model in financial coaching businesses specifically. So I want to share some of those benefits with you. When you're first starting out, we just need to coach people. We need the experience. We need to know that we are helping people. And it's easy to invite someone to book a one-time session with you. Personally, I think the best way for people to experience coaching is to coach them. And so that's the second reason I think this works perfectly. My philosophy is that money is not one size fits all. And the true value of financial coaching comes from personalizing what we tell people and the strategies we give them. And I don't know about you, but I don't know how to do that without knowing much more about them and their actual numbers. And to review all of that is a ton of work and immense value. So I think we should charge for it. That's why I think a paid discovery session is terrific for financial coaches specifically. Another thing is I have found that it's terrific for our clients. At Fiscal Fitness, at least, most of our clients are newer to coaching. We are probably the first coach they've ever hired. So the paid discovery session offers them an opportunity to try it and experience it and see if it's for them, while also receiving value and insights and an expert's opinion on their finances. One of the reasons I think my business has been so successful is because even if a person does the discovery session and doesn't move forward with long-term coaching, they love the session. They gain a ton of value, have more clarity, start making progress, and guess what? They tell everyone about it. It is such an easy thing for them to rave about to their friends and family and coworkers. So we end up getting referrals, which is our number one source of business at Fiscal Fitness. So even if that first client does not move forward with more coaching, we've coached them. We helped them. We feel great. They're making progress and we're getting referrals. And those people, some of them will move forward and into more coaching. And it feels really great all around. I also think this works for me because it's simply a very natural process for us. When someone shares a financial struggle with me, they can't get out of debt. They can't save money or can't keep money in savings. They can't control their spending. They want to save for a down payment on a house. They want to get ready for a new baby on the way. They want to save more for their kids' college education. They want to start a business or pay themselves more from their current business. They need to find the money for X, Y, or Z, literally anything. Chances are what I want to do is I want to wrap my arms around all of it in order to truly help them. I believe my ability and likely your ability to do this as a financial coach is our superpower. To look at numbers and make sense of it all, to see which strings we can pull and how those are connected to other areas of their money, our ability to make sense of their chaos, it's incredibly valuable because something that is so overwhelming and daunting and pure chaos to our clients is easy for us to unravel and understand. Let's demonstrate that. Let's do that first. And because it's so valuable, we absolutely should charge money for that. Next in the client journey, we'll discuss how you prepare for the discovery session, what information you gather in advance, why those pieces of information are important, not only for you and your ability to create a plan for your clients, but why they're really important for the client's growth and preparedness going into the session as well. The discovery session itself is incredibly powerful, but remember, coaching doesn't just happen during the coaching session, but with every step in between. So the client prep work you use is part of the coaching experience. After we discuss the prep work next, we'll get to review the flow and framework for delivering a really stellar discovery session. After the discovery session, clients are then invited to commit to a longer-term coaching program, 90 days, 4 months, 6 months, 12 months, whatever. We'll continue this series by reviewing that step of the client journey as well. Finally, after that initial program, clients are not done working with you still. They'll then move into a periodic coaching program, the philosophy and details of which I will also cover in this series. We are creating lifelong clients for your business, which is your ultimate growth guide as a financial coach. If you love this and you want to better lead your clients through a journey of coaching, I hope you will consider the Financial Coach Academy. The Academy is more than just a course. It's a robust program with live coaching and peer-to-peer support. Every step of the client journey is given to you in the Academy so you can wrap your arms around it and lead your clients through something you are really proud of and gets them results. It also gives you all the tools you need to set up this client journey, both behind the scenes so that you can have dozens of clients in it at a time without a ton of time, effort, or work on your end managing it all. When you schedule any of these types of sessions, even the exact email confirmations we use every day are provided to you in the Academy. The precise wording and examples for overcoming objections is in the Academy. The exact prep work we use, terms and conditions, and software tutorials that we use for your discovery session, it is all in the Academy. The Academy provides everything the client will see and experience, but also everything you will set up behind the scenes to make this a wonderful experience for both you and your client. If you are looking to grow your business as a financial coach, we have a new cohort starting soon, and I would love to have you join us. You can enroll at financialcoachacademy.com. In the meantime, you've got some growth checkpoints to review. Check in with yourself and see if these are areas to focus on to grow your financial coaching business, and make sure you share your thoughts with me. I believe financial coaching is the best and most rewarding way to make a living. I truly love what I do. If you're ready to learn and see how to become a profitable, successful financial coach, check us out at financialcoachacademy.com to learn more about our online courses, free trainings, and our events. As always, I love hearing from you. If you have any questions for the podcast, submit them at financialcoachacademy.com/podcast. And if you love this podcast, please subscribe and leave us a review. It would mean the world to me. I will see you next week, Coach.